Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to the live stream. Sorry, just taking the average off the 4-hour time frame a second. Still have them on the hourly, yep. All right, here we got in then. So, Vincent, welcome to the live stream. I'm doing really well. Hope you're doing well too. Fracture, thank you for joining me. Good evening. Hey, Royston, how are you? I'm doing really well, thank you. I'm going to go over a few markets of interest today. Obviously, on Tuesday, we spoke about pound yen. Pound yen has come up into an interesting area as well. We were kind of looking to see if price would extend towards this 186.50 handle. We are trying to find a little bit of resistance at the 4-hour highs at the moment. So we're going to take a look at what's going on in this market in particular. We've got other markets of interest as well. Quite like the idea of being a buyer on euro yen, especially from sort of a monthly outlook as well as sort of a daily, weekly. So I'm going to delete all this info off here and we'll break down this market a little bit together. Another market I was pretty interested in was dollar CAD. I still have an alert set here, so we'll break down this market as well. And yeah, any other charts of interest, obviously, that you guys are watching, please let me know. We can have a little look at those charts as we go through today. And yeah, we'll probably check out a little bit of gold as well, because gold's coming into a decent little area as well, which I'm kind of eyeing up as well. So now that we've broken through these lows here, gold will go a little bit lower. We could be targeting an area just down through this zone. So I'm just kind of watching gold as well. So that's kind of the things on my watch list. Let me know what's on your watch list. Abina, hello. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me for the live stream. So yeah, if you do have any kind of charts that you want me to take a look at, please let me know. Can you analyze pound Aussie? Yeah, absolutely. I will put that on the list to do. Let's go. Let me actually bring up the pound Aus chart. I don't think I actually have it on my watch list right now. So let's go and actually bring that up so that we've got it there. Let's load in the data. All right, let me just change the view here. Right, cool. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have a look. We'll have a little look into that. I've got Aussie down as a weaker currency at the moment, so we'll have a little look at what's kind of developing here, and yeah, we'll go through those markets. I think Euro Oz probably. I don't know if I have Euro Oz already open as well. I imagine Euro Oz is trading higher at the moment. Just from a strength and weakness point of view, yeah, I can see on the hourly there that we've recently broken. We're definitely in an upward trend there. So let's grab that as well. And we'll go through Euro Oz, Pound Oz as well. So let's jump onto Pound Oz first. We might as well start here and have a little look at what's going on. As always, I like to just jump up to the weekly time frame first. I want to identify those key supply and demand zones, or support and resistance, however you want to call it. Basically, I want to highlight those key turning points in the market. So visually, right now, I'm considering the market is in an upward trend. So I want to be identifying support points. And yeah, I can see that price obviously has come into a support. We can see that price here on the weekly chart
has come into this level and bounce to the upside. So that area down there is definitely going to be some kind of support. So other support levels as well, I can see this low would be a support point for me, and these lows down here. So let's go and pop those in from a rectangle point of view. We'll just drop in those zones like this. Okay, I'm going to pop in this one down through here as well, just for my OCD. I'm just going to put a little line there so that I can line these all up. And then this zone down through here. And again, we're just going to use simple stuff. We're just going to label these out as well so we know what kind of prices we're looking at. I know MetaTrader is really difficult to read sometimes, but I can see that that is 1.8900. Okay. So that's level of interest number 1. Oh, I was meant to copy that down. Go back. So if we hit Control and drag it down. So this is around about the 185.25. Don't mind that. Nice quarter number coming in there. And then the final zone of interest would be down towards the 173 handle. So let's pop that in. So yeah, pound Oz for me, obviously it's coming into a strong area of support at the moment. So if I wanted to be, let's say your bias is to go short, right? Let's say for whatever reason as well, you think that the pound is a weak currency and that Oz is a strong currency, right? So you want pound Aussie to move to the downside. So we need to identify levels of resistance now. We can see that these highs appear as resistance, this high appears resistance, maybe something in here could be of interest as well, because that's obviously a turning point before a continuation. But I won't mark that one up just yet. I'll wait to mark that one up on a lower time frame. But let's point out the key highs. We've got this level up through there, right, as one. And we have these kind of recent swing highs that we can see just through there. Again, let's just label them up. So the highs around about the 199, I'd say. And then we'll pop in a level. We'll just pop this one to the right hand side, or actually let's try and drop that in a little. So around 193. Again, I'm going to round that up to the quarter number. So 193.25. So yeah, that would be my sort of basic analysis on this so far, is the fact that I can see prices technically in an upward trend here. We've recently found support down at 189. There's a potential to go to 1.9325 because we're looking for price to come into key resistance. The next thing to do is go down to those daily time frames. This is where we can refine those levels a little bit. Okay, now what I like to do is just kind of make them either just a little bit tighter by looking at those kind of key areas through here. For here, we can just make it a little bit more sort of in line with this wick low. That's definitely an important level. We can see prices moved away from that so far. So yeah, we've got that kind of situation going on through here where prices sort of in a little minor trading range between that sort of 1.9325 and this 189 level. So ranges are always a little bit difficult to predict because you don't know how price is going to react in the midpoint of that range. You can see that price has obviously found support here, found resistance here in the past, and that's where price is kind of finding a little bit of resistance right now. So if we go into the 4-hour time frame, I'm just going to take off the averages a second just to not confuse matters, but I can see why price might be finding some resistance here. Okay, we've had an aggressive move to the downside into that support. Looking left, where has that aggressive move come from? It's come from this swing high in here, right? Price has come up, rejected it once. We're trying again to breach past it. We're not really trying to breach past it. So I can see why there's a potential that you're looking for the short here at the moment with a potential move back to the downside. Let's just pop that level in. So that level there. Again, I just kind of like to just highlight the swing highs here. just because those to me are the extreme points of the market. If price was to trade through that level, we know that we've got this high in here and those weekly range highs. But it's important to note how price reacts when we get to these points, right? Because if we want to be, let's say you want to be long for whatever reason, you know, I don't really want to get long in the middle of a range. I want to be long down towards this point, right? If I want to be short, then you want to be looking at those kind of highs where price comes into to then look for your chart patterns. Okay, so one of those chart patterns could be sort of an hourly chart. You could be looking at let's say divergence. I can see here that price has come up into this level of resistance. I can see that price made a higher high, but my stochastic made a lower high. That's an opportunity I feel that you could have looked at with potential price action for a move to the downside. If you want to get really picky and go to a lower time frame, then I always look for two types of patterns. You're going to look for the double top pattern with a move to the downside. You're going to look for the head and shoulders, or there is just the lower high move, right? And that's what I can see here. Price came up into the level, we rejected, we come back, we breached the downside. So any kind of shorts could have come in below that sort of low area there, and now we're moving lower. The thing, if I was going to say, like, you know, I want to get short now, I'd say you want to be a little bit careful, because obviously this area down through here was a strong area of support in the past. Price has obviously found some reason to get long at this point. Institutions, whatever, large traders getting involved through that point. So looking at the sort of, let's just go to the hourly, we can see that it's almost like the neckline of that pattern in there, that neckline of that sort of double top. So really speaking, if I was expecting price to continue lower, I'd be looking for a breach of that and a continuation, potentially down into sort of these swing lows through here. You can see how price kind of reacted before. Nice double top, breach of that neckline, close below. We saw that market move to the downside. So if you're looking to get short this market, I would say that is the way to sort of approach that, is your fact that you have got this kind of minor support coming in here at the moment. But if price can breach that minor support, it could lead to a sort of bearish reaction there. Okay, so yeah, nice spot though on a potential short. I've got it marked down as Aussie's a little bit weaker at the moment. That's just because of the higher time frames. On the lower time frames, I haven't got it really marked in anywhere, to be honest. But yeah, that's a nice little double top off a level of resistance through there, or you could call that a supply zone, or whatever you want to call it. I like to just look at those extreme highs and see how price reacts to it. So nice little rejection off of that. I can see you just said I'm actually looking to go long on pound Oz. I think if you're going to look to go long this market, there's sort of one or two areas that I would look to do that. The first would be back at range lows, because obviously you've got a higher probability that buyers have come back here in the past. The second, again, is just to identify those key support points, and you just want to watch how price reacts at key support. So the first one I can see, if I just clone this up, is obviously down through here. Okay, so that's the first zone, anywhere between sort of the 1.9065 and the 1.9040. So I would be watching to see how price reacted here. Okay, so again, a move into that level, what would it do? Would you go down to the lower time frame, look for that change of trend at that point? Or, I mean, if you're really brave, you can look for limit orders, but I wouldn't necessarily suggest doing that, because you know, it could be a fundamental factor that drives price through the level first before moving higher. But I quite like the sort of divergence play going on here on the hourly chart. If it can breach that minor low there, it could possibly come down to that sort of 1.90 sort of 50 area, if we were to put a label on it, like so. Let's just put a little line up here as well. So this is around about that 192 handle. So whole number, you can see price pushed into that whole number just over here, and then rejected and pushed lower from that. I always like to look at the whole numbers, half number, quarter numbers. I always find that they're very useful when you look at the markets. Let me just change the visualization on these so we don't see them. So yeah, but a little bit of a range play going on there. I don't actually mind Euro-Oz, to be honest. I think Euro is actually a strong currency at the moment. Again, we've kind of looking at the market, we've come down towards this support. Haven't quite made it into this support zone here. You can see that we were sort of, 75, 60 pips off of that supporting zone through there. And price has started to rally. We did get these swing highs as resistance as well. So that's going to be something of interest. And then let's just pop a line there. Okay. But yeah, I think the problem I've got with these charts at the moment is we are a little bit more range bound between these kind of two different areas. It's like I'm very much eyeing up a sort of Euro yen move at the moment, and quite like that. I do like this price action going on though. You've had accumulation, rally, really slow pullback, rally, really slow pullback. So obviously this area here, lots of sort of accumulation going on, but you would argue that buying pressure is a little bit more than the selling pressure because of the extensions away. We've got these areas up here that could be good targets for Euro-Oz as well. So this is how you can start building a picture. Like, what would you do in that situation there? You could either look at sort of the hourly time frame, or even lower, look at your 30-minute time frame, look for a bit of a sort of breakout opportunity. I can see that obviously this is the zone that we're working with at the moment. If I was just to drop a moving average back on there, I wonder where that kind of comes in. Let's have a quick look. Just want to see where the 50 is, because sometimes the rebound off the 50 can be quite good on these particular markets. Let's make that different. So you can see, look at the price kind of comes back into an area there. You get the inverse head and shoulders pattern. Price breaches that pattern. You get an extension to the upside. Price is coming down. We're getting that sort of similar pattern there. A little bit more sort of consolidation going on, but that's what I'd be kind of eyeing up. This could be good for a break and retest. You've got this sort of movement going on in here. If price was to come back down to this low, reject it, break out, then it could be an opportunity to look at your lower time frames for a retest for that kind of opportunity to trade higher and something like Euro-Oz, which is something I do quite like at the moment. Daily chart shows us the highs up there. We've also got this swing high as well. If we go to the 4 hour, this would definitely be where I'd be looking to see if price could come into. Anywhere in between that sort of 6,830. There is obviously other areas as well. You've got that zone in there that's going to be of interest. Large selling coming in there. And those highs. So I think if we breach this area, this high, if we breach this high around about the one spot 67.50, I think this could be something to just watch out for in the near future. But yeah, let's keep an eye on that one. I'm actually going to set a couple of alerts. I might have a little look at an alert down at this swing low here, or we'll see if price can break out. So I'm going to alert either side of that. If price starts to break out, could be a nice retest opportunity to see price kind of push back to the upside there. So yeah, Euro's quite nice. I actually quite like Euro yen, like I was saying. Euro yen is doing sort of similar price action in terms of we're getting these kind of rallies, a little bit of a sideways price action rally, a little bit of a sideways. That's what I'm kind of looking to see if price will continue to push higher on this one. Daily chart. The only problem I've got with my charts here is I don't have enough info at the moment to show you the resistance level. But there is a resistance level up towards the 168 handle, which is something I'm looking to see price come towards. Questions. Can you offer some fundamental analysis on pound Aussie? I think they're fairly similar in terms of where they're at. I mean, Bank of England at the moment is happy to hold interest rates where they are. That is, inflation in the UK is fairly high, we actually saw the RBA hike interest rates recently by 25 basis points. That's because of their inflationary pressures kind of coming back into the market. So they are looking to try and stem that inflationary pressure still. So they're looking to hike interest rates. So that differential there may be a driving factor behind seeing pound Aussie start to come a little bit lower. When you have that sort of difference in central bank policies, that can be one of those things that does push the market in a particular direction. So I would definitely keep an eye on that. Obviously, pound has weakened recently, just in general. It was fairly strong, but this week it started to come back a little bit. If we just have a little look at the daily chart of cable, you can see that we're starting to kind of pull back this week. We haven't really had a sort of strong bullish day yet on cable. We are sort of testing the 122.50s at the moment, but is price going to sort of hold above this level, and are we going to start breaching back to the upside here? I think we have to always remember as well, if we're trading cross pairs, we're trading the two majors together. So you're trading pound US dollar versus Aussie US dollar, okay? And you want to basically watch both of these two charts and look at when price comes into areas of support and resistance. So I can see that pound is at support now. Does it mean that price is going to move higher? No, but I just know that it's at a level of support. Let's say the Australian dollar was at a level of resistance, then you'd start to think, well, maybe pound Aussie could start to move to the upside, essentially. You're always trading the two majors against each other. And that's why it's so important to kind of look at your sort of major currency pairs. It's to help gauge the strength and weakness as well of the currencies. If something's really weak against the US dollar, then that's where you want to go and try and find it against a currency that's maybe just moving sideways against the dollar. So yeah, I'd be just a little bit wary of things like that. Like I said, though, pound's not the strongest this week. Obviously, you know, this is this week's price action, and it is fairly bearish, right? So it's not necessarily that it's a strong currency this week so far. Whether that will change in the next session or two, you know, I don't know. If we do start to see some strength, then, you know, maybe that pound Aussie can come back to life a little bit. But if we go take a look at the Australian dollar, for instance, if I do have it open here, might not have it open. Let's go file. Let's have a little look at Aussie US dollar, because that would give us a good gauge of what price is doing. Right. So you can kind of see the difference already against the pound. If I just kind of shift it all the way over to here, you've got pound, which is slightly bearish at the moment, still at support, but slightly kind of pulling back here. Where if you look at the price action on the Australian dollar, that has started to sort of bottom out a little bit here already, and that buyers are stepping back in. So again, that differential there, you can physically see it. The Aussie dollar's moving higher, pound dollar's not, you know. But yeah, cable is an interesting market. I did quite like pound yen longs this week. I was looking to sort of get long in the market, and we've pretty much just gone sideways. I ended up taking a long position through here, ended up coming out at this level. But I was looking to see if it would extend through this point at 168.50. So I still have half a position on, and I'm looking to see if I can get to 186.50. Not looking very likely at the moment. If we look at this 4-hour time frame, aggressive selling came in here. We know that. We can see like the pin candle there, and price fell away. We found support at 186.64, which was pretty much last week's close. We've then started to rally a little bit, and I can see that sellers have started to try and come back into this price action here. So pound yen may end up coming all the way back down towards the current week lows, which is around about the 186.60s. So we may have to look at something there for a potential long idea. But at the moment, it's not really doing what I expect it to do. If we go to the hourly, we can see that it's trying to find support at the 50 MA here. Whether it does, it needs to obviously show quite a strong aggression there, I think, in order for price to move higher. But would I get long in and around this area? Probably not. I would rather wait to see if price would come back down towards this area where we know buyers have been in the past. So that is the sort of idea there. It's kind of wait to see if price comes back to this point and then look for your long idea. Again, that's looking at sort of supply and demand zones for opportunities. Okay, instead of trying to trade in the middle, okay, where there's a lot of uncertainty, think about it as well in terms of risk. If I was trying to get long at the 50 MA, where's a safe stop loss for me? It's all the way down here, right below that swing low. Where's a safe target for me? It's up at this high where we've already found buyers. If we were to kind of look at the distance between here and here, we can already see that it's probably not a good place to get involved because it's going to be a negative risk to reward ratio. If we kind of flip that mentality on its head and say, well, where is the good sort of element to place risk, right? Then I'd be saying, well, I would like to be long here. Okay, now where's my stop loss? I can either ATR the stop below this low, okay, put the stop below that low if you want to get really aggressive. I've also got the 200 moving average through there. So the risk to reward then becomes like this, right? So this will be your reward and this will be your risk. Okay, so we've got to start thinking about the markets in those type of ways. You know, it might look good to be a buyer because of X, Y, and Z, but we're technically trading in the middle here at the minute. We're trading in the middle of this sort of 4-hour range that's been going on in the market. I don't really want to get involved when something's in the middle. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. It's very much like what's going on with euro dollar at the moment. I was just marking up a few levels on euro dollar. I can see that there's a few opportunities around. I was looking to potentially get long down through this area here, which I'll explain in a minute. But this is the sort of area where buyers have stepped back in. So if I want to be long this market, really, I want to be looking down towards these lows. If I want to be short this market, I want to be looking towards those highs. So where's that element of risk reward? Well, from there to there is obviously a good sort of element of risk reward. So I want to try and watch to see, does price first of all come back to this point? It may not do it. If it does, then great. If it doesn't, then we can look for some opportunities. Now, I was looking for a long down through here, but that's just mainly off of this. If we go to a 15-minute time frame, we can see that price was obviously finding some support back here yesterday. So I was watching to see, can we get a little bit of a reaction? Also, I use volume analysis as well, and there was some volume coming through here as well. So I was looking to see, can price be supported? It has been supported. I was looking more for a double bottom pattern though to get involved with it, and it didn't do that. So I haven't got involved. Price has moved away, but you can see we're kind of tapping into these highs. I would have expected today's high to be taken out, to be honest. So we might have to just watch this, but it has done a double top on the 5-minute at the moment, which is kind of suggesting that sellers are really happy to get involved with price at this point, at this current moment in time. So we'll see if that continues to play out or not. But I like the idea of looking for longs more down towards this level, around about that 1.0660. Okay, that's an area where buyers have stepped in. Can we look to get in again around that point? It's very similar to all these situations here, right, where we had strong buying coming in. You probably think the move's gone, but by the end of the week, it's back there, and then you get that strong move to the upside. I mean, look at all these areas in here. Okay, those are the areas we want to be doing business with the market. All right, so I'm looking to see, can price come back to those big points where price has moved from? You know, if it comes all the way up to here and we haven't got involved, that's fine, because we know sellers have come in here before. So our seller's going to come in here again. If it breaches that level, you just look for the different level. Okay, you look for price to go to somewhere else. And if we look at the daily time frame here, you can see I've actually marked up a lot of the levels here on the daily time frame. We've got the 1.0797. We've got all the way up towards the 1.0860, and then all the way up here. So it'd be interesting to see how this market does play out. If we look at the monthly time frame so far, we're taking out last month's high. So, you know, when we were talking about the potential for this to really move to the downside, what I didn't take into consideration was this monthly level of support. Okay, so it's actually taken the monthly lows out on euro dollar, and now we're starting to see a bit of a push higher. So price coming up towards this high here isn't too out of reach, I don't think, for a move. So we'll see if we can get a pullback, and then if price does start to move higher, it could go and target all these swing highs through there. So definitely one to watch for sure is euro dollar in the near future, and that's quite like euro yen higher as well, because dollar yen, although dollar yen is a little bit of an interesting market, we're still floating towards that 151, trading above 150 obviously. You know, there's still, I feel, some opportunity to see that yen weaken just from a fundamental point of view. But we'll see how that does play out. I mean, that probably would have been a decent sort of long down through this area through here. But yeah, I wasn't really looking at dollar yen. I've been looking to try and get advantage of yen just in other places. So like I said, pound yen, euro yen, which I like a lot. Let's have a little look at this chart. It's hard to show you where the resistance is on this particular charting, but on this particular product, but I will show you another time. But yeah, euro yen I like a lot. I love seeing things like this tight consolidation. It basically telling me that, you know, although sellers are trying to get involved, those buyers are still willing to kind of pick up prices here. So I like the idea of kind of watching one of those. Sorry, Vincent, I missed your message there. Euro Kiwi, please. Yeah, I think, did we cut the Euro Kiwi this week? I'm not too sure. Obviously not. I haven't got it down the bottom here. Wasn't particularly on my radar. What are you looking to do with Euro Kiwi? Buy, sell? I mean, that to me looks like quite an aggressive bearish candle last week. So maybe we're going to come down towards these swing lows. That's where the sort of reward is, isn't it? It's coming down. It's coming down towards here, you know, and those couple of areas. Let's go to a daily time frame. Kind of looks like we've had that consolidation breakout. Prices retesting the consolidation, you know. I think if we're going to look for anything, where would we look at sort of those opportunities? And I think let's just change the visualization on this. So there was definitely clear resistance up towards this point on Euro Kiwi. 182.40s. Large selling pressure coming in. You could almost look at this potential trend line break. So I'm going to place that on that low there. You've almost got like little channels being built as it goes down. But I think if you want to, if you're looking for kind of shorts and you see price doing this and potentially closing below a sort of range like that, I'd look for the lower high play, potentially in around that sort of 180.50. I'd target this swing low down through here, and then if it trades through that, obviously you've got all these kind of lows down through here that could be targets. I think risk reward wise, if you put your sort of stops in and around there, you know, you've got good risk reward ratio is what you're looking for in particular on these type of markets. Obviously, if it remains in this sort of range here, what if price starts to just continue like this, then, you know, we could see another move back into these swing highs where obviously we've seen a couple of rejections. That might be this sort of key point for a move down there. Kiwi is a little bit stronger at the moment, to be honest. I was eyeing up a potential Kiwi Swiss long. I think we spoke about this on Tuesday. Kiwi Swiss was definitely one that I'm watching for another opportunity to get long this week. I did actually take a position, but I didn't get triggered. The first position I took was a little bit of a sort of rogue position for me, but I thought I was going to miss out on the move. So I ended up trying to buy above that swing high in there, but I didn't get triggered, which was really lucky because price just completely reversed after that. And but it came back into the averages down through here and is closed above it again. So I was really tempted to get long again here, but I'm just going to sit out and wait, because if my bias is to be long this market, we still have 140 pips to go to this next resistance zone. So although that doesn't sound like a lot on Kiwi Swiss, that is quite a lot. Especially if I zoom out and you can see this 0.55 is all the way up here. That's what I'm looking to essentially target with Kiwi Swiss. So I don't need to necessarily rush into this market. Again, we're kind of seeing, you know, if I just move that, you've got that trend line break coming in here. The averages have started to cross. So I like the idea of getting involved. I was looking then to get involved around this level. So you can see that there's kind of like that support. Let me just zoom in, sorry, so you can see that a little bit better. Just one more out. You can kind of see through here, there was this support zone. Let me just move that up a little bit. And then there was another little bit of support. So I was actually watching here yesterday to see if that was going to be the point where we start turning around. If I go down to the 15-minute, you can see nothing really happened. Price came into it. So I was watching this. And again, I like to see that sort of double bottom pattern or whatever. We were starting to show signs of it initially. There was this kind of thing going on there. So I was waiting to see, can that break? And it didn't. It just moved sideways and then moved lower again. So I was a little bit like, well, I'm not going to get involved here because this move, which I'm expecting, might not be even happening anymore. And then obviously through the Asia session, I looked and we just kind of started to break through all these key swing highs then. So I was a little bit gutted, but I thought I'd stay out of it. I'll wait for the daily close. You know, if the daily close is bullish, that could be sort of the opportunity to see price move higher again. You know, because if I go to the 30-minute time frame and have a look at what happened when price started to become bullish before, you know, this was the first bullish day here, okay? And then you can see after the fact, we get all these sort of bounces from the 50 MA. So I don't need to kind of get into that sort of first move here now. I'm just going to wait for the daily bullish close. Then I'm going to look to potentially see how it reacts to that 50 MA. So basically what I want to see tomorrow is something like this, a retest, and then look for some kind of potential there as well. That's a little bit more trend based rather than looking at sort of the supply and demand zones and things like that. What also I did notice as well, looking left, there was this real nice selling pressure coming in, and price just basically found that again and drove lower. So the reasoning to try and buy stop it was to see if it would go and hunt these sort of areas, these previous highs, but it didn't follow through and price moved lower. So I'm fortunate there that I didn't get triggered into that one. So I can now look to see if we get something like that instead. So that's what I'm kind of watching for at the moment. I think still my favorite charts are sort of Euro Yen. Kiwi Swiss is definitely one. Euro was actually, I don't mind looking at that now that somebody's pointed that out. So thank you. Gold could be very interesting, right? I was watching gold. This daily chart is very interesting to me because we can see that price has recently come into this swing low and breached it to the downside. So is that momentum going to continue, or is this going to be a bit of a false breakout? Is price going to close back within that level, which could suggest that the move for buyers are coming back in? I have highlighted this zone down through here is something that I'm interested in as well. And that's just simply because as price was rallying to the upside here, we had a pause and then we rallied again. So I was looking to see, now that we've taken that low out, is it going to go and try and find somewhere where there was, you know, volume, and that would have been through this zone through there. So I'll keep an eye on gold because obviously it could still do that. I'm pretty sure we got some data out today, haven't we? To do with the Fed. Oh, so we've had that. Yes, 7 p.m. for me, the Fed Chairman Powell speaking as well. So there could still be some movement here. There could still be some reasoning that the dollar gets a little bit stronger or weaker or whatever. If the dollar does get weaker, then this could be that turning point. That swing low through here could be the turning point on gold. And you could look to maybe go back towards that $2,000 level. If it go down to a lower time frame, we could just watch to see how it's performing. So that's that low through there. We're kind of coming back towards that now. Let's have a little look on the hourly. We're kind of breaching that high. Maybe something where you get that change of trend. I can see there's been divergence down here as well. But if we get that sort of move higher, a little bit of a pullback, and then another aggressive move, we could be looking for basically the higher low to come into play. And that could be your sort of play to then try and target these kind of swing highs. See if we can get back to that sort of $2,000 level on gold. So I do quite like the idea of gold moving higher at the minute. That's just based off the fact as well, the dollar index is in a really interesting place. We can see that the past sort of 3 days have been very low range. And, especially yesterday, we had this kind of low range in pin candle, failed to break the previous day's high. We've tried to break that day's high again. We've not had much luck there. So could that be a potential as well for the dollar to start pushing back towards this area? Still early days, obviously. We haven't taken out yesterday's low yet. So we need to see if any kind of buying steps back in here. But if that does weaken, then, possibly there's a move down towards this low, which would then kind of circle me back to, euro dollar, which is down through here. So that's a couple of long positions I'm running. Euro dollar potentially running back towards these key swing highs through there. Okay. So that's what I'm kind of looking at this current moment in time. Right, guys, didn't realize we've been running for nearly 45 minutes. I think I've just waffled on for the past 45 minutes. But yeah, like I said, those are the key charts I'm kind of looking at the moment. Those are the key sort of support, supply and demand zones within these type of markets that I'm watching. So yeah, I think gold's definitely one to watch. Kiwi, Swiss, Euro, Yen is something I like in particular. And yeah, we'll see if that can continue. Sorry, I missed the message. Sorry, Royston. Do you think that gold will fill the gap on the daily chart? Let's go back and have a little look at gold. Wherever I've put it. Let's have a look at that daily chart. Which gap are we talking about? This kind of gap here. Cheers, Justin. Thanks for joining me. Hope have a great day too. Further down near the low. Oh, this one down here, sorry. I didn't even spot that down through there. There's potential for that. Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got to ask ourselves the question, what's it going to take for price to get to that point? It may fill eventually. What we may actually see is, if I just grab the pen tool, is a move up to that $2,000 or $2,050 level and then all the way sort of back down, because we are still technically in a large trading range on gold. Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. It's just whether that will happen, right now. I mean, the sort of last sort of gaps I can see on the daily chart coming around here, right? So if I was just to grab that there, it did obviously fill eventually, but it went all the way up to 2,050 first, and it took, we're on a daily chart here, so it took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months before it filled again. So yeah, I can see that being filled at some point. But because price has been so aggressive in here, because where the dollar index is as well, I don't see gold doing that sort of anytime soon, unless there's any kind of real dramatic changes fundamentally in the market. But yeah, good spot that was. Right then, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate all your comments, questions as usual. Thank you to Royston, Justin, Abina, Vincent, Pratcher. Thank you for all your comments and questions today. If you did enjoy the stream, please leave it a like. Or if you are new, please subscribe. And I will catch you in the next session, which will be Tuesday next week. So thanks for joining me, guys. Have a great weekend, and I'll speak to you soon.